Hello, hello. I figured this would be the best way to do this because I am not typing all this out today. It's just not happening. I have really recognized today the signs and symptoms of burnout, and I'm recognizing the importance of mitigating the worst of that before it becomes all too much. Um, One of the biggest things I've been recognizing is because so much good is happening, because there's so much abundant moments of flow and just like awesomeness, and everything's in alignment and everything's happening as it needs to, and that push is there, the momentum's there. I feel the need to be continuously pushing to keep that ball going, even though everything is just kind of generating itself. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because that's what keeps us driven. That's what keeps us, especially working for ourselves, like those who are working for ourselves, that's what keeps us earning. That's what keeps us kind of on that right track to getting more, doing better, and putting ourselves in the right networks, in with the right people, and in the right environments to be able to kind of propel us even further forward. And while all those things are so fine and dandy, there are a reason we have those times in between to be able to catch our breath. And typically, I allow myself a good deal of that time because I'm a hermit. At the end of the day, while I have extroverted moments, I'm quite an introvert. I love and need my own space and my own individual recovery time. And whenever I don't allot myself that individual recovery time, I recognize that I start. Yeah, I tell my husband and daughter all the time, I'm running out of spoons. Like, I don't have the spoons or the capacity to be able to meet you or to meet my tasks and my everything as I need to do it. And so, one of the things with this past little bit, I've been doing the tattoo expo, and that was fucking insane. That was inspiring in all the best of ways. And now, like, my entire life and career have just been projected, like, into a whole new direction. And not again in any bad way. Like, this is all, I'm for it. I have the energy. I'm like, yeah, let's get it. And even then, like, the people around me are like, holy fuck, okay, let's go. And so we're keeping that momentum going, which is good, but it takes so many extra spoons. And so now I'm learning to balance those spoons. I typically work 3 days a week in shop, which is the Monday, the Wednesday, and the Friday, to break it up and give myself that period. The bosses were away this past week, so I was in 5 days this past week, and then seven, or the 2 day. That anyway, I've been in a lot this past little bit, which is good because I needed it and the shop needed me. However, I recognize, like, in those very precious few moments that I'm able to catch my breath, I'm exhausted and overwhelmed trying to catch my breath because there's so much that I want to catch up on. And so instead of doing that, I'm slowing myself down, and the universe is slowing me down and saying, no, you're going to sit on it instead. And so I figured I'd share that with you guys. I was supposed to go to Smiths Falls today with a couple of friends. Like, we were supposed to go for this big, beautiful adventure outing, and it became a lot of, like, not necessarily even responsibility. Like, it was like, okay, cool, just another thing to handle, just another thing to do. I can drive, no worries. Like, and I was genuinely excited for it, because after all of this work travel and, like, kind of like purposeful travel, now there was some like fun adventureful travel, and that, I think, is what I was actually after. And so I do recognize that I was going to push myself today. My whole body was like rejecting the premise of leaving today. And I even shared that with Yvonne, and she was like, gentle, rest, like, take, no. And I still was like, no, I can do it. And I recognize that to be some level of patterning, whether that be people pleasing or just kind of like suppressing my own needs in order to be able to meet somebody else's expectation. And that's not even an expectation that they set for me, that's a standard that I set for myself. And so that was something that was a gem that I found in the dust today. While I sat here in my sweats and my body's full protest of leaving, which the universe and the environment is also on par for. The weather is bad. I'm like, oh, but my tires are good. No, Brooke, sit, chill. And so that was another reason as well. I wanted to kind of just go on, blah, blah, blah. And I felt like, especially this during these like seasonal transitions, other people might help to hear it because we don't always recognize that it's happening, that those shifts are happening, that our body is asking those different things. It's asking for those different foods. It's asking for extra vitamins because we're not receiving the same amount of nutrients we're usually getting from the environment. Everything is kind of starting to really dampen down, especially for those of us who live in the northern climates or like the colder climates. That's something that, you know what I mean, we experience a lot of with these bigger shifts, especially losing so much more daylight. We don't have as much opportunity to just kind of be, grow, do, explore, create. And so I find those moments in between when we can take a break between work, when even at work we can take a pause and stretch, get into our body, remember to drink our water, remember to get our hydration from other sources than water as well. Bone broth does the body good this time of year. You know what I mean? There are so many different ways to be able to offer the body, the mind, and the soul that little bit of kindness. And it's funny because even now, as I say this, I recognize the want to put back into the workshops that I was planning for these seasonal transitions. Even the best intentions can bog the body down, it can bog the mind down. And I say it to Alex all the time at work, like we are on the right track, but we push so hard for it that we got to remember to be like, oh, 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 slow it down. It'll all happen exactly as it's meant to, when it's meant to. Just breathe. This has been Brooke's Bit of Wisdom for this Sunday morning. I'm going to go enjoy my one day off before I have another week of chaos.